252 horsepower Ford Focus ST. And by Allstate, the only car insurance with a claim satisfaction guarantee. Welcome back to Chicagoland Speedway, just a few miles from, well, Joliet Prison, where the Blues Brothers became famous. And I believe one of their favorite songs was Gimme Some Lovin'. Who will get the loving tonight at Chicagoland Speedway? Well, the big question is, who will be on top of the adjustments that need to be made as the track will continue to change throughout the evening? And who can handle the speed at this racetrack, coming off of a short track in Iowa to a 1.5-mile super speedway here in Joliet, Illinois. Hello, everyone. Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, and Michael Waltrip with you once again. Michael, we talk about adjustments, trying to stay ahead of the track. Who has the advantage in that situation?
You know, these crew chiefs are so smart, Rick. They've got these trucks set up on the edge of control here at the start of the race because they know that that's as slick as the track's going to be. Every lap that's run, the track's going to gain more and more grip as the sun settles lower and the track conditions cool off and get so good at the end of this race. So the crew chiefs are going to say, hang on to her for a little while, buddy, and it's going to come to you, and you'll be right at the end. But meanwhile, Phil, hanging on to her at 175 miles an hour down in the corner, that ain't easy.
Yeah, that's the average speed here, upwards of 174, 75 miles an hour. These are very fast racetracks, and the 1.5 miles make up so much of our schedule. 10 of the 22 races are on 1.5 mile racetracks. That gives us extreme advantage to the guys that are good on 1.5 miles. As a matter of fact, since 2000, there's only been 2 times that the champion did not win a race on a 1.5 miles. So right now we've got to look at somebody like James Busher. He's already won 2 of the 1.5 miles. But the guys that are going to win this championship, are going to fight for the championship, they better figure out how to win on a 1.5 mile racetrack.
And up front, starting at the #1 position, we've got Justin Lofton. And he has also won on a 1.5 mile racetrack, getting Eddie Sharp his first win. Does he have an advantage starting up front?
I just think that team has a lot of momentum, a lot of confidence, and I love what they're doing right now. The pole, he's my favorite for tonight.
All right, that means that Justin Lofton's got not only a little pressure on him from up here in the booth, but, well, he's expected to do well starting up front. Let's get the engines fired. We go for the command.
For the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome the president of Marquis Energy and partner of American Ethanol, Mr. Mark Marquis.
Race fans, it is that time. Drivers, start your engines.
Six trucks have just come to life. Who will get to victory lane in Chicago? Stick with us. We have 225 miles to find out. Welcome back. Trucks rolling around the 1.5 mile Chicagoland Speedway as we're getting ready for 225 miles under the lights. Take a look at our starting grid. Justin Lofton grabs his first career pole. Joey Coulter starts second again.
For the 5th time only.
Strong qualifying run for Timothy Peters, but don't look for him to start there.
Great start by Brendan Gaughan with Jason Loffer. They make up row number 3.
Row 4, Todd Bodine making his 200th career Truck Series start tonight.
Matt Crafton, he was very confident early on when we talked to him.
Says he's got a rocket ship under him.
There's Krista's pick, Nelson Piquet Jr.
Turner Motorsports making up row 6. Jason White, Ron Hornaday, the 4-time champion. And how about Johnny Sauter? Has to go to the rear because he missed the drivers' meeting earlier today.
Parker Kligerman, we saw during qualifying him having a problem. He had actually a rod bent that held the track bar in line, so he had to go to the back.
David Starr will make his 300th start tonight in the Camping World Truck Series.
Brian Silas was about to crash for both laps during qualifying. Still managed to get a good run in.
Jeff Green makes a rare start here in the Camping World Truck Series. He's back in row number 13.
Row 14, Dennis Setzer. He finished second in the points championship numerous times, but never was able to get that trophy at the end of the year.
That 92, driven by Chad McCumpy, also goes to the back for the start for unapproved adjustments.
It's going to be crowded back there, Phil.
Yes, it is. Some good trucks back there.
Yeah.
Back in row 17, Chris Fontaine, Jennifer Jo Cobb. And rounding out the field in row number 18, TJ Bell and Norm Benning. Take a look at our auto stop track description of this mile and a half. We always talk about how mile and a halves are all just a little bit different.
Yeah, check out the back straightaway. It's not really straight at all. It's got a big sweep to it, which allows you to carry a whole lot of speed down into turn 3. When I think of Chicago, especially in a truck, I think speed. These things will be flying when they hit the corners.
18-degree banks here at this racetrack. You see 36 trucks, 150 laps, 225 miles. Our pit window, somewhere between 52 and 57 laps.
Let's head back trackside to get our thoughts before the green flag flies. We start with Ray.
Well, thank you, Rick. You guys know I love statistics, and I'm always trying to find just the right number to know who the best drivers are when we talk about the competition in this series. Well, when we look at top 10s this year, I think those numbers are very telling. At the top of the list, you'll see Ty Dillon. He has posted a top 10 in all 9 races. That's some incredible numbers. And the reason that Peters and Lofton are at the top of the points, because they've also got 8 top 10 finishes this year. But when you look at James Buescher's numbers, they're not nearly that good, right? Only 5 top 10s. Well, the big difference is Buescher has 2 wins this year. And it's my belief that if you're going to win the championship in 2012, you're going to have to get multiple wins in this series. Buescher's the only guy with 2 so far, but Ty Dillon, top 10s in every race this year. That's pretty impressive. Right, Hermie?
Well, you're right, Ray. And when you're running for a championship, it's not always about how many races you win. It's also about how you avoid disaster. And if you look at that 3 truck of Ty Dillon last week at Iowa, they did a pretty good job of doing that. A very early pit stop, lap 5 for major adjustments to this truck, put him at the back of the field last week at Iowa. Later on in the running, an ill-timed caution after a green flag pit stop put this team 2 laps down. But they fought all night long, rebounded for a 7th place finish last week. Well, if they get to Homestead and they're hoisting that championship trophy, they may look back at Iowa at one of the turning points for the season. Rick?
And right now, Ty Dillon currently 3rd in the point standings. He's only 14 points out of the lead. Timothy Peters holds that top spot. Justin Lofton running in the 2nd position as the championship goes. We ride along with a few different drivers, and Mike, I believe we've got the onion.
Let's hop in this truck inside the top 10, starting 7. Todd Bodine looking for the milestone win. No driver has ever won in his 200 start, but Todd's won 12 times on mile and a halves. He likes where he's setting.
We're also going to ride along with Brendan Gaughan in the South Point Casino Chevy. Brendan was 4th last time out on a mile and a half at Texas. He's a 6-time winner on mile and a halves. He will be good tonight. Look for him to go and stay up front. He starts from the 5th spot.
Let's ride along with Jason Leffler. Leffler has raced in the Cup Series and the Nationwide Series here. This is his first Truck Series start. He has a fast truck driving for Kyle Busch Motorsports. 4 top 10s in his last 4 starts. He's on a row. He rolls off in the Dollar General M&M's Toyota.
Ray and Hermie both told us about Ty Dillon, top 10s in every race this year. A great recovery last week. He will start his Bass Pro Shops All-State Chevy from the 3rd spot.
Pace car makes the hard left turn onto pit road. That puts the field back in the hands of Justin Lofton. He will bring the field to the green flag for the first time in his career as they work into the triangle. Green flag goes in the air. We're underway from Chicago.
Look at Ty Dillon. He moves to the high side. Usually we see people peeking down to the bottom when they're starting on that inside row. He took advantage of a little bit of a lazy start by Joey Coulter and drove up on the outside of the 22 truck.
We were talking to Justin Allgaier, who joined us up here for the ARCA race in the booth, and he said there was outside was about 0.2 of a second faster for the Nationwide cars. A lot of grip up there on the outside.
Brendan Gaughan makes a great move on the start. He's up to 2nd. He's running that higher line. There's a shock.
Yeah, if you're going to say that the top side is a couple tenths better, I'm going to go ahead and put all my money on Brendan Gaughan because he loves it up there. He knows how to run the top side of the racetrack. So if there's an advantage to running high, he knows how to take advantage of that.
Joey Coulter looks to the inside. They're side by side for 2nd. Coulter has the advantage as they come out of turn number 2 down the backstretch. But here comes the momentum of that 2 of Brendan Gaughan, and it's 3 wide behind him.
Johnny Sauter trying to make his way back up towards the front. Had to go to the back, as we talked about. He's already passed a bunch of trucks.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, he's going to be very, very determined to win this race tonight. Johnny's always fast on the mile and a half, but he made a mistake. He messed his team up by having to start in the back. He wants to make it up to him here tonight.
Talked about how fast that high line might be. Well, that's exactly what Timothy Peters is taking advantage of right now. Running the higher line, trying to work his way from the back to the front after an engine change earlier.
He's bringing Parker Kligerman with him. We had 3 strong trucks that went to the back for this start.
Talk about momentum, Rick. Look at Peters as he gains on Slaughter down the back straightaway because he runs that higher line. Johnny gets in the corner a little bit better, but man, Timothy's able to really take advantage of the exit.
Battle for 7th here. Crafton on the inside, Cale Gale on the outside. Gale has the advantage as they work their way back into 1.
Sure, I'm impressed with this Cale Gale kid. Every week he gets better and better. Running inside the top 10, strong every week. So look for him to be a real factor before this night's over.
Kligerman looks to the inside of Timothy Peters. Again, Kligerman, Johnny Sauter, and Timothy Peters all starting at the rear of the field because of different reasons, but working their way up to the front early in this one. 4 laps of 150 and already a lot of position changes.
Yeah, Matt Crafton able to get that spot away from Cale Gale. There's Miguel Paludo, the 32, right behind Cale Gale.
Those 2 Brazilians couldn't figure out who they wanted to win this race in the pre-race, but they both have strong trucks. It'd be fun to watch them battle all night.
Side by side, Timothy Peters making his way on the high line.
Those 3 good trucks that started at the back, they're kind of working together to make their way back up towards the front. You see Johnny Sauter to the inside of Paulie Haraka. He's going to bring Peters and Kligerman with him.
That's kind of fun to watch those 3 parade their way up through this field, and they are doing it fast times, even though they're marred back in traffic.
Already out in front by a second is Justin Lofton. He has a 1-second lead over Brendan Gaughan. Joey Coulter runs 3rd. Leffler and Ty Dillon your top 5. There's the gap between 1 and 2. Early in this one, just 6 laps into the 150. And you see side-by-side racing. Hornaday on the inside of Miguel Paludo.
Hornaday makes a strong move through the center of the corner. He drives that 9 truck down in the turn harder than I think anyone. I don't know how he makes it stick, but he always seems to make up ground.
No trouble.
They make contact.
Into the wall, and we see some smoke coming out of the right side of that 32 of Paludo. As the contact was made, both went into that wall.
He didn't have him cleared. He just moved up the racetrack. Miguel Paludo was there. You see the smoke already from the 32 of Paludo. He may have more damage than Hornaday in this situation.
Yeah, and he's got to watch that right front tire. I'd like to see him get to pit road. If that thing rubs, it'll blow out, and his night will be over. And it's rubbing bad enough where he has to come to the pit.
You see him working his way down to the bottom of the racetrack. Obviously, the smoke coming out of the right side, and he works way
down,
up.
I think.
Oh, we got a caution.
So the caution comes out on lap 8 of 150, and there you see the 99 of Brian Silas.
He's spun that baby around, and we watched him qualify and talked about he was about to spin around then. Thing must have been really loose, and he couldn't hold it here in the race.
Look at all the damage to that Duraline Chevrolet for Miguel Paludo. Watch this now. This is
reason for the caution coming out.
So he had a truck behind him. Looked like maybe Chad McCumbee behind him. I don't think there was any contact. Hermie, what's going on down there in the pits?
Well, before that contact with Hornaday, Miguel Paludo said the truck was too tight. The bad news is, after the accident, he hit on the right front enough to knock the steering off center, which means obviously the toe is out. So they're going to come. They've already put right side tires on this stop, or in the process of doing so. Then they'll have to come back for a couple stops to try to check the toe. But tough break for Paludo. He was inside the top 10, guys.
Yeah, they were running for that 9th position. Take another look at what happened when these 2 trucks got together. Hornaday trying to make the pass.
He just comes up, doesn't have Miguel cleared, and that sends both trucks into the wall. Hornaday was lucky. He just caught it with the right rear, almost drugged the right front into the wall, but not quite. Paludo, however, has got a lot of damage.
See, Ron Hornaday actually stayed on the racetrack that time. He may be pulling up beside a Cale Gale to have him look at it.
Or maybe just wandering over so his spotter can get a good view of the right side of that truck. Looks like some damage back to the right rear bumper, but all in all, not much damage.
Dennis Setzer gets the Aaron's lucky dog, so he'll get a lap back after we've completed 8 of the 150 laps here in Chicago.